The Dravik homeworld of Krathis hung in space like a red jewel. 3 moons orbited the planet, each one converted into a military fortress. The planet itself was surrounded by massive defense platforms and shield generators that could protect the entire world from bombardment. 2,000 Dravik warships patrolled the system in tight formations. Warlord Sethrak watched the defenses from his throne room deep inside the planetary fortress. He had pulled back all his forces after the shocking defeats across the border worlds. The humans had destroyed 6,000 ships in less than a week. It seemed impossible, but the reports were clear. "They cannot break our defenses here," he told his commanders. "Let them come. We will crush them on our home ground." His intelligence officer approached nervously. "My lord, our scouts report that the humans are gathering a massive fleet. They count at least 3,000 ships approaching our system." Sethrak smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Exactly as I predicted. They think numbers will save them. But our shields are impenetrable. Our fortresses can withstand years of siege. They will break themselves against our defenses." What the Dravik did not know was that the human fleet approaching them had no intention of a long siege. Humanity had studied the Dravik defenses carefully. They had found the weaknesses. Now they would exploit them with surgical precision. Colonel Daijung commanded the first wave. His specialty was orbital assault, breaking planetary defenses. He had 40 ships under his command, each one equipped with specialized weapons designed for exactly this kind of target. "Begin the sequence," he ordered. The 40 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Dravik system. They immediately launched thousands of small probes that accelerated toward the planet at incredible speed. The Dravik defense systems detected them and opened fire. "They are targeting the probes." "Exactly as predicted," Daejung's tactical officer reported. "Good. Let them waste their ammunition." While the Dravik focused on the probes, the real attack began. 100 ships, completely hidden by advanced stealth technology, moved into position around the planet. They had been waiting in the dark spaces between stars, invisible to sensors. The stealth ships launched a synchronized strike. Missiles designed to phase through normal shields hit the shield generator stations. The weapons did not explode. Instead, they released electromagnetic pulses that disrupted the generators' power systems. Across the planet, shield generators began to fail. The massive planetary defense system that had been designed to protect Krathis flickered and died. "Impossible," Sethrak roared. "The shields have never failed." "What kind of weapon is this?" His engineers scrambled to restore power, but it was too late. The shields were down and the Dravik had no backup systems. They had been so confident in their primary defenses that they had never planned for this scenario. Daejung watched his tactical display with satisfaction. "All shield generators neutralized. Estimated time to restore their systems, 47 minutes. Begin Phase 2. The main human fleet, 3,000 ships strong, jumped into the system. They did not attack randomly. Every ship had a specific target, a specific role. The coordination was perfect. Admiral Tae-min commanded from the Eternal Storm. All units engage assigned targets. Remember, we want Sethrak alive if possible. Disable his fortress, do not destroy it." The battle for Krathis began. Human ships swarmed the Dravik defenders like wolves attacking a wounded animal. The Dravik fought bravely, but they were outmatched in every way. Human weapons were more advanced, human tactics were more refined, and human coordination was flawless. Within 30 minutes, half the Dravik fleet was destroyed. The survivors tried to retreat to the protection of the moon fortresses, but human ships had already surrounded those positions. There was no escape. On the planet's surface, Captain Hyunwoo led a special operations team. Their mission was to infiltrate Sethrak's fortress and capture the warlord. The team consisted of 20 humans, each one trained in advanced combat techniques. They wore powered armor that made them faster and stronger than any normal soldier. They carried weapons that ranged from simple kinetic rifles to exotic plasma cutters. But their greatest advantage was their neural links, which let them coordinate perfectly even in the chaos of battle. Special Operative Rena crouched beside Hyunwoo as they approached the fortress. "Sir, I am detecting heavy defenses. Automated turrets, force fields, guard patrols." The fortress was built to withstand an army. "Good thing we are not an army," Hyunwoo said. "We are hunters, and hunters do not charge through the front door." The team split into smaller groups. Some created diversions, drawing the fortress defenses to the wrong locations. Others used cloaking technology to slip past sensors. Rena led a team through the fortress's waste disposal system, a route the Dravik had never considered vulnerable. They moved through the fortress like ghosts. When guards appeared, they were neutralized silently. When automated defenses activated, they were hacked and disabled. The Dravik had built their fortress to stop a conventional assault, but there was nothing conventional about how humans fought. Hyunwoo's team reached the throne room in 18 minutes. The massive doors were sealed and guarded by Sethrak's elite warriors. These were the warlord's best soldiers, 7 feet tall and armed with powerful energy weapons. Breach in 3, 2, 1, Hyunwoo counted down. The doors exploded inward. Gravity manipulation charges disrupted the defenders' balance, sending them sprawling. Before they could recover, neural disruptors shut down their nervous systems. The elite guards collapsed without firing a single shot. Sethrak stood from his throne, energy blade in hand. So the humans finally show themselves. Come then, face me in honorable combat. Hyunwoo raised his weapon and fired. The neural disruptor hit the warlord in the chest. Sethrak staggered, his blade falling from nerveless fingers. He collapsed to his knees, unable to move. Honorable combat? Hyunwoo asked. You bombarded civilian colonies. You killed innocents. You declared that mercy was weakness. Now you want honor? He walked to the fallen warlord and placed restraints on his wrists. You studied humanity. You thought you knew us, but you only saw what we wanted you to see. We are traitors, yes. We are diplomats, yes. But we are also the survivors of 10,000 years of war. We learned a long time ago that honor in battle is a luxury that victors discuss afterward. Survival comes first. Victory comes first. Everything else is just words. The entire infiltration from entry to capture had taken 18 minutes. Sethrak could not believe it. His impenetrable fortress had been taken by a force of only 20 soldiers. Impossible, he hissed through the neural disruptor's effects. We studied you. You are weak. Soft. How? You studied what we let you see, Hyunwoo said. Did you think we would reveal our military capabilities to potential enemies? Did you think we survived on a death world by being honest about our strengths? Humans learned deception long before we learned space travel. We are not just warriors. We are intelligent warriors. And that makes us the most dangerous thing in this galaxy. He activated his communicator. Admiral, the package is secure. Sethrak is in custody. Above the planet, Taemin received the message and broadcast it to the entire Dravik fleet. Your warlord has fallen. Your homeworld's defenses are destroyed. You have fought bravely, but this war is over. Surrender now and you will be treated according to council law. Refuse and we will finish what we started. The Dravik fleet had been reduced to less than 400 functional ships. They were surrounded by 3,000 human vessels. Their warlord was captured. Their defenses were gone. The choice was obvious. One by one, the Dravik ships powered down their weapons and transmitted surrender codes. The war that had threatened to destroy the Galactic Council ended not with a final epic battle, but with the quiet acceptance of defeat. In the Council Observation Center on Vareth Prime, alien officials watched the conclusion of the war in silence. From the first human attack to the capture of Sethrak, only 6 days had passed. The Dravik Empire, which had been expanding for centuries, had been completely defeated in less than a week. How is this possible? The Quilvan representative whispered. The Dravik were one of the strongest military powers in the galaxy. Ambassador Haewon stood nearby, watching the same displays. Because strength is not just about how many ships you have or how powerful your weapons are. True strength comes from knowledge, coordination, and the willingness to do whatever is necessary. Humanity has all three. You have been hiding this capability for 73 years, Chancellor Vexthar said. Why? Because we wanted peace, Haewon said simply. We came to the stars hoping to leave our warlike nature behind. We built the fleet as insurance, but we hoped we would never need it. We wanted to be traders and diplomats and friends. We wanted to be something better than what our history taught us to be. She turned to face the council representatives. But the Dravik forced our hand. They attacked our friends. They killed innocents. They left us no choice. So we showed you what we really are. We showed you the predators that Earth created through millions of years of evolution. We showed you what happens when humanity stops pretending to be weak. The chamber was quiet for a long moment. Then Vexthar spoke. What happens now, Ambassador? Admiral Taemin arrived at Vareth Prime 3 days after the first battles began. His command ship, the Eternal Storm, took position above the Council station. The ship was massive, larger than anything the Council had ever seen humanity deploy. Its hull bristled with weapons and its shields could withstand bombardment from an entire fleet. The Council Military Command Center was crowded with generals and admirals from 24 species. They all turned when Taman entered the room. The human admiral was not particularly tall or imposing. He looked ordinary, but everyone in that room had seen the battle reports. They knew what this ordinary-looking man commanded. Chancellor Vexithar greeted him personally. "Admiral, on behalf of the Council, I thank you for your intervention. Your forces have saved countless lives." "We did what needed to be done," Taman said simply, "but we need to coordinate our efforts. The Draviks still have major fleet elements in their home territory. We need to plan the final offensive." A Quilvan general stepped forward. "Admiral, forgive my directness, but we need to understand what we are dealing with. Your weapons, your tactics, your entire military doctrine is unlike anything we have ever seen. How did humanity develop such advanced warfare capabilities?" Taman looked at the assembled officers. He saw fear in their eyes. Fear of him. Fear of what humanity represented. "You want to understand how we fight?" he asked. "I will show you." He activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the center of the room. Ancient Earth, before humans reached the stars. The images showed armies numbered in millions. Cities burning, weapons that could destroy entire regions. "This is the Battle of Gaugamela," Tamin said, showing an ancient battlefield. "Over 300,000 soldiers fought here. That was over 2,000 years ago. This is the Siege of Stalingrad. Over 2 million people died in this single battle. This is the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. One weapon, one city, over 100,000 dead in seconds." The alien officers watched in horror as image after image appeared. Wars that spanned continents. Conflicts that killed tens of millions. Technology designed for nothing but maximum destruction. "Why are you showing us this?" the Quilvan general asked quietly. "Because you need to understand," Taman said. "Every species in this galaxy evolved with natural predators. You learned to avoid danger. You developed societies based on cooperation because you had external threats. But humanity had no natural predators except other humans. We spent 10,000 years competing against ourselves. We learned warfare not from fighting animals or defending from monsters. We learned it from fighting each other." General Quan Ho stepped forward. He was Taman's second in command, a veteran of the Human Defense Forces. "On Earth we have a saying, humans are persistence hunters. Our ancestors would chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We are not the fastest or the strongest, but we never stop. We adapt, we plan, and we overwhelm." He brought up new images showing human military structure. Every child on Earth studies military history. We learn about Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Napoleon, Sun Tzu. We study their strategies not as ancient history, but as living knowledge. We have been refining the art of war for our entire existence. A Verithan commander shook her head. "But you came to the council as peaceful traders. You built diplomatic relationships. You showed no signs of aggression." "Because we chose peace," Taman said. "After 10,000 years of war, we finally united our planet. We finally stopped fighting each other. When we reached the stars and found other species, we had a choice. Be the predators we had always been, or try to be something better. We chose to be better." "But you built the fleet anyway," the Quilvan general observed. "Yes," Taman admitted, "because we know what we are. We know our nature. We hoped we would never need to use our military strength. But we prepared for the possibility. We built the ships, trained the crews, and kept everything hidden. We wanted to be your friends, not your nightmares." Engineer Hana entered the room carrying a data pad. She was young for such an important position, but brilliant. She had designed many of the weapon systems the human fleet used. "Generals, I need to brief you on our technology," she said. "You have questions about our weapons. I can answer them." She activated a new display showing a human warship schematic. "Our ships are modular and adaptive. Every system can be reconfigured during battle. We use AI extensively, far beyond what Council law allows. Each ship has thousands of networked processors that learn from every engagement. That level of AI is dangerous," a Council tech officer protested. "It could turn against you." "It could," Hana agreed. "But we built safeguards, multiple layers of control and oversight. We are comfortable with dangerous technology because we have been using dangerous technology for thousands of years. We learned how to control fire when we were living in caves. We learned to control nuclear reactions. We learned to control artificial intelligence. It is what we do." We take dangerous things and make them useful. She showed more details. Weapons that violated 3 different council treaties. Sensors that could track ships through hyperspace. Shields that adapted to incoming fire. Neural links that connected entire crews into a single fighting unit. We did not build this fleet to conquer, Hana explained. We built it to survive. Humanity learned a long time ago that peace is only possible when you are strong enough to defend it. So we became strong, stronger than we ever told you, stronger than you could imagine. The alien officers were silent. They were beginning to understand the terrible truth. Humanity had not been weak. Humanity had been holding back. All this time they had been living next to a sleeping giant. Captain Hyunwoo joined the briefing. Fresh from his victory at Temris IV, he brought tactical data from the battles so far. The Dravik fight using traditional military doctrine, he explained. Massed formations, overwhelming firepower, direct confrontation. It works against species that fight the same way. But humans learned thousands of years ago that there are better methods. He showed a simulation of a human attack. We use pack tactics. Small groups coordinate to isolate and destroy larger forces. We flank, we feint, we ambush. We learned these strategies hunting animals on Earth. Then we refined them fighting each other. Now we use them in space. Your drones are particularly effective, the Varathan commander noted. They move like living creatures. Because we programmed them to think like Earth's predators, Hyunwoo said. Wolves hunting in packs. Sharks circling prey. Raptors diving on targets. We took millions of years of evolution and turned it into software. The drones do not just attack. They hunt. Admiral Taemin brought the briefing back to the immediate situation. The Dravik have pulled their remaining forces back to their home system. We estimate 2,000 ships defending their capital world. If we want to end this war, we need to break that defense and capture Warlord Sethrak. 2,000 ships, the Quilvan general said. Even with your superior tactics, those are difficult odds. Not really, Taemin said calmly. We will send 3,000 ships. Overwhelming force has its place in warfare. We will surround their system, cut off all escape routes, and give them one chance to surrender. If they refuse, we will destroy them. He looked at each alien officer in turn. I want you all to understand something. We did not want this. We did not seek this war. But now that we are fighting, we will fight the only way we know how. Completely, efficiently, and without mercy for those who refuse to surrender. The Dravik Empire will fall in the next 72 hours. After that, we can discuss what happens next. But first, we finish this. The briefing ended. As the alien officers filed out, Taemin heard them whispering to each other. Words like terrifying and nightmare and monsters reached his ears. He did not react. He had expected this. Chancellor Vexthar remained behind. Admiral, my people are grateful for your help, but they are also afraid. I know, Taemin said. You have shown us a side of humanity that changes everything. We can never go back to how things were. The galaxy knows now what you really are. Yes, Taemin agreed. We are predators. We are warriors. We are the descendants of survivors from a death world. But we are also your friends. We chose to save you rather than conquer you. Remember that choice, Chancellor. When this is over and you decide how to treat us, remember that we had the power to rule the galaxy, and we chose not to use it. Vexthar's crystalline form seemed to dim slightly. I will remember, Admiral. I hope the rest of the Council will as well. Taemin returned to his ship to plan the final assault. In 3 days the war would be over, but the consequences of revealing humanity's true nature would last for generations. The galaxy had seen what humans could do when they stopped pretending to be weak, and that sight would never be forgotten. Commander Jinho stood on the bridge of the Silent Predator, watching the enemy fleet grow larger on the tactical display. 300 Dravik warships surrounded the colony world of Temris IV. They had already destroyed the orbital defenses and were beginning bombardment of the surface. All ships report ready, his tactical officer said. Battle Group 7 is in position. Jinho studied the enemy formation. The Dravik ships were powerful, built for straightforward combat. Heavy armor, strong shields, massive weapons. They expected their enemies to fight the same way, trading shots until one side broke. Humans had learned different lessons. Begin the approach, Jinho ordered. Activate the Hunter's Protocol. The 17 human ships of Battle Group 7 split into smaller units. They did not charge straight at the enemy like the Dravik expected. Instead, they moved in a pattern that would have been familiar to anyone who studied Earth's predators. They were flanking, surrounding, cutting off escape routes. The Dravik commander noticed the human ships on his sensors. He laughed, a harsh sound that carried over the communication channels. Humans? They sent humans to fight us? This will be over in minutes. He ordered his ships to form a battle line. 300 vessels turned to face the 17 human ships. It looked like an easy fight. Overwhelming numbers against a tiny force. Jin-Ho waited until the Dravik were fully committed to their formation. Then he smiled. "Light them up," he said quietly. The silent predator revealed what it really was. Weapon ports opened along the entire hull. Railguns that could accelerate projectiles to 5% of light speed locked onto targets. Missiles launched from hidden tubes, dozens at first, then hundreds. But these were not ordinary missiles. Each one carried an AI smart enough to make decisions, to learn from enemy tactics, to coordinate with other missiles. They moved in swarms like hornets defending a nest. The Dravik shields took the first impacts, then the second. By the third wave, their shields were failing. The railgun rounds came next, moving so fast that the Dravik sensors barely registered them before impact. Holes appeared in armored hulls. Ships began to spin out of control. "Sir, the humans are using illegal AI weapons," a Dravik officer shouted. "Illegal by whose law?" The commander snarled. "Destroy them!" The Dravik ships opened fire. Massive energy beams lanced through space. But the human ships were not where the targeting computers predicted. They moved with impossible precision, their neural-linked crews reacting faster than any individual could think. One Dravik beam grazed the hull of a human destroyer. The ship's shields flickered but held. In response, the destroyer launched a weapon the Dravik had never seen. A quantum disruption torpedo that phased through normal shields and detonated inside the enemy ship. The Dravik cruiser simply came apart, its structure collapsing on the molecular level. Jin-Ho watched the battle unfold with calm efficiency. "Target their command ship." All railguns synchronized fire. 6 ships turned their weapons on the Dravik flagship. Hundreds of rounds fired in perfect timing, arriving at the same microsecond. The flagship's shields collapsed under the concentrated assault. Its hull cracked open like an egg. The Dravik commander's last transmission was a scream of disbelief. Across the battlefield, Captain Yuna commanded a different kind of vessel. The Phantom's Edge was a stealth carrier, invisible to normal sensors. She sat in the center of the Dravik formation, and they had no idea she was there. "Deploy the swarm," she ordered. The carrier opened its bay doors. 6,000 combat drones emerged, each one no larger than a human fist. They moved in coordinated groups like schools of fish or flocks of birds. The Dravik sensors registered them too late. The drones attacked like piranhas. They focused on weak points, engine exhausts, sensor arrays, weapon ports. Individually, they were small. Together, they were devastating. They overwhelmed point defense systems through sheer numbers. A Dravik destroyer tried to escape, firing its engines at full power. The drones swarmed its engine ports, burrowing into the machinery. The ship's power failed. It drifted helplessly as more drones cut through its hull. "This is not war," a surviving Dravik officer transmitted. "This is slaughter. This is hunting." "What are you?" Yuna responded over an open channel. "We are what you forced us to be. We are Earth's children, and on Earth only the apex predators survive." Lieutenant Somin worked the tactical station on the Steel Typhoon, coordinating the movements of 3 different ship groups. Her neural link fed her information from dozens of sources at once. She saw the battlefield as a living thing, constantly changing. "Group Alpha, move to intercept the fleeing cruisers," she said. "Group Beta, cover our left flank. Group Gamma, prepare the pincer movement." The human ships moved in response to her commands. It looked like choreography, like a dance, but it was deadlier than any dance. The Dravik found themselves trapped between converging forces with no escape. A group of Dravik ships tried to break through the human line. Somin saw their intention before they even began to move. She adjusted her formation, and the Dravik ran straight into a wall of fire. Their shields collapsed. Their hulls burned. In the Council Observation Center, alien military officers watched the battlefeeds in silence. What they were seeing should not be possible. 17 ships were destroying 300. The mathematics did not work. The physics did not work, but humans did not fight by normal rules. "Look at how they move," the Varathan general said. "Every ship knows what every other ship is doing. They do not need to communicate. They just know." "The neural links," her aide explained. The human crews are sharing their thoughts, their reactions. It is like they have one mind controlling 17 bodies. More than that, another observer said. Look at the drone patterns. Those are hunting behaviors. Pack tactics. They are using strategies that evolved over millions of years of predation. The Quilvan observer, the same one who had mocked humanity days before, spoke quietly. We told ourselves they were peaceful traders. We believed it because we wanted to believe it. But no species builds this kind of military capability by accident. They have always been warriors. They just hid it from us. On the Silent Predator, Jin-Ho received surrender requests from the surviving Dravik ships. 40 vessels out of the original 300 remained functional. They were begging for mercy. Jin-Ho thought about the colonies the Dravik had destroyed. The families killed during the bombardment of Temris IV. The warlord's declaration that mercy was for the weak. Negative, he said coldly. Your warlord said there would be no mercy. You receive what you promised others. The human ships continued their attack. It was methodical, efficient, and brutal. Within 9 minutes of the first shot, every Dravik ship was destroyed. Not damaged, not disabled, destroyed. Battle Group 7 suffered 0 casualties. 3 ships had minor shield damage. That was all. Jin-Ho transmitted his battle report to Admiral Tae-min. Temris IV is secure. Enemy fleet eliminated. Proceeding to next objective. Similar reports came in from across 12 different battlefronts. Human forces were not just winning. They were dominating. The Dravik war machine that had seemed unstoppable was being torn apart. The Dravik Empire had built their strategy on overwhelming force and ruthless aggression. They had fought dozens of species and always won through superior numbers and firepower. But they had never fought a species like humanity. They had never faced an enemy that had spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of killing other humans. Every strategy the Dravik knew, humans had invented, countered, and improved upon centuries ago. In the council chambers, ambassadors watched the battle reports with a mixture of relief and fear. Relief that they were being saved. Fear of what their saviors truly were. They fight like demons, a representative whispered. No, Ambassador Haewon corrected. Demons are simple. Demons are chaos. Humans fight like humans. Organized, strategic, efficient. We learned these skills fighting each other for survival. Every war we ever fought, every battle we ever studied, every weapon we ever designed, it all came from competing with other humans. And now the Dravik faced the combined knowledge of 10,000 years of human warfare. She looked at the displays showing human ships hunting down Dravik forces. Your species evolved in balanced ecosystems. You had predators and prey, but you all learned to coexist. Earth was different. Earth was a death world where everything competed for survival. The weak died. The strong adapted. And humans became the apex predator of a planet that tried to kill us every single day. We chose peace when we came to the stars because we were tired of war. We had seen enough death. We wanted something better. But the instincts are still there. The skills are still there. The Dravik made us remember what we are capable of becoming. A new report came in. Another Dravik fleet, 500 ships strong, had been engaged by human forces near the mining colony of Kelrath Station. The battle lasted 11 minutes. The Dravik fleet was annihilated. Human casualties 0. The galaxy was learning a terrible lesson. Humanity had not been weak. Humanity had been restrained. And now the restraints were off. The Dravik Empire was about to fall to a species they had dismissed as harmless traitors, and every other civilization in the galaxy was quietly recalculating their assumptions about these peaceful humans who smiled so easily and hid so much behind those smiles. On Earth, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, lights activated in a facility that had been dark for decades. Admiral Tae-min walked through corridors carved from solid rock, 3 kilometers below the surface. His footsteps echoed as automated systems came to life around him. The command center was massive. Hundreds of stations, each one staffed by military personnel who had trained their entire lives for a war they hoped would never happen. Now the screens were lighting up and people moved with practiced efficiency. Admiral on deck, someone called. Tae-min waved them back to work. Status report. Captain Su-jin stepped forward with a data pad. Predator mode authorization confirmed. All reserve fleet commanders have been notified. Crews are moving to their vessels now. How long until we're ready? Tae-min asked. 18 hours for full deployment, sir. But we can have the first wave active in 6, Taman nodded. Begin the activation sequence. Send the protocols to all hidden facilities. Luna Base, Mars shipyards, the asteroid belt stations, everything? Yes, sir. The Admiral walked to the main tactical display. It showed a map of known space with human territory marked in green. It looked small compared to the other species. But that map was a lie. A comfortable lie that humanity had maintained for 73 years. He pressed a button and the display changed. New icons appeared. Thousands of them. Secret shipyards built inside hollowed-out moons. Hidden construction facilities buried in asteroid fields. Entire fleets stationed in the empty spaces between solar systems where no one ever looked. All stations report ready to deploy, Sujin said. Taman took a deep breath. Release the restrictions. Activate the reserve fleet. Humanity goes to war. Across human space, massive doors began to open. On Titan, Saturn's largest moon, the ice shell split apart to reveal hangars carved into the moon's interior. Warships that had waited in silence for decades now powered up their engines. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, asteroids that sensors had marked as ordinary rock suddenly came alive. Their surfaces were camouflage, hiding military installations beneath. Ships emerged like wasps from a disturbed nest. On the dark side of Earth's moon, beneath craters that looked completely natural, more vessels rose into space. These were not the peaceful traders and exploration ships the galaxy knew. These were warships, sleek, deadly, and built by a species that had learned warfare in the harshest school possible, their own history. At the council station above Verith Prime, alarms started screaming. Sensor technicians stared at their screens in disbelief. "Sir, we're detecting ships," a Quilvan technician said. "Human ships. Lots of them. How many is lots?" His superior asked. I cannot count them all, sir. The sensors keep finding more. They are decloaking across 8 different sectors. The supervisor rushed to the main sensor station. The display showed contacts appearing everywhere. 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000. The numbers kept climbing. In the council chamber, Ambassador Haywan stood calmly as chaos erupted around her. Species representatives were shouting, demanding explanations. Their sensor feeds were showing them the impossible. Chancellor Vexthar's crystalline form turned to Haywan. "How many ships do you have?" "The final count will be 17,312, Haywan said calmly. "Give or take a few that might still be in maintenance." The Quilvan who had mocked humanity days earlier made a choking sound. 17,000? But you said... We said nothing, Haywan corrected. You assumed. We let you assume because it was safer for everyone. Humanity learned long ago that being underestimated is the best defense. Captain Hyunwoo received new orders on his personal communicator. He read them twice to make sure he understood. Then he walked to the bridge of the Eternal Dawn. "Minji, bring up the ship's true specifications," he said quietly. His first officer looked at him for a moment, then nodded. She entered a code into the main computer. The ship's systems changed. Walls slid back to reveal weapon ports. The engines hummed with new power. The peaceful diplomatic vessel transformed into what it really was, a flagship-class warship. "All crew to battle stations," Hyunwoo ordered. "This is not a drill. Activate all weapon systems. Engage combat protocols." Throughout the ship, hidden compartments opened. Railguns extended from concealed housings. Missile tubes became active. Shield generators that were far more powerful than any diplomatic ship needed came online. The crew moved without hesitation. Every person on board had been military from the start. The diplomatic mission had been their cover, but this was their true purpose. "Sir, we're receiving fleet coordination data," Minji reported. "We've been assigned to Battle Group 7, 16 other ships under our command." Hyunwoo studied the tactical information. Battle Group 7 would hit the Dravik forces that were attacking the colony world of Temris IV. The Dravik had 300 ships in that sector. They thought they were facing an easy target. They were wrong. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out on thousands of human vessels. Crews that had pretended to be civilians for decades now showed their true training. Ships that looked harmless revealed weapon systems the Council had never seen. Admiral Taman addressed the entire human fleet. From his command center on Earth, his face appeared on every ship's main screen. "This is Admiral Taman to all fleet personnel. For 73 years we have hidden our strength. We have let the galaxy think we were weak. We have held back our nature because we wanted peace. But the Dravik have made peace impossible. They have attacked our friends. They have killed innocent people. They have forced us to show the galaxy what humans really are. He paused, looking directly into the camera. We are not traitors who dabble in defense. We are not diplomats who happen to have weapons. We are warriors who chose peace. We are predators who decided to protect instead of hunt. But make no mistake, the predator is still there. It has always been there. And now we release it. All ships proceed to your assigned targets. Rules of engagement are simple. Protect Council worlds. Destroy Dravik military forces. Accept surrenders when offered. But if they refuse to surrender, show them why Earth breeds survivors. Show them what happens when you force humanity to remember what we are. Good hunting. Taman out. The human fleet began to move. 17,000 ships organized into battle groups jumped to faster than light speed. They moved with precision that shocked Council observers. Every ship knew its role. Every crew acted as one part of a larger machine. In the Council Command Center, military observers watched in stunned silence as human forces deployed. A Varathan general studied the tactical display with growing amazement. Look at their formation, she said. Every ship is perfectly positioned. They are moving like a school of fish, like a flock of birds. How is this possible? Her aide checked the data. Sir, the humans are using neural link technology. Their crews are connected through a shared network. They think together, act together. It is like watching a single organism with 17,000 bodies. The Varathan general had fought in wars before. She had commanded fleets and won battles, but she had never seen anything like this. What kind of species develops this level of military coordination? A species that has been fighting wars for their entire history, Ambassador Haywan said from behind her. The general had not heard the human approach. A species that spent 10,000 years fighting each other before we reached the stars. We learned coordination because our survival depended on it. We learned to work as one because that is how predators hunt. The general turned to face the ambassador. You have been hiding this from us. Yes, Haywan said simply. Would you have trusted us if you knew the truth? Would you have let us sit on the council if you knew we had more ships than the next 5 species combined? We hid our strength because we wanted to be your friends, not your overlords. And now we will save you from the Dravik, and then we will have a difficult conversation about what comes next. But first, the war. On the tactical display, the first human battle groups were approaching Dravik positions. The Dravik had no idea what was coming. Their sensors showed human ships, but they still thought humans were weak. Easy targets. The Varathan general knew better now. She had seen the data. She had watched the deployment. Those Dravik ships have no idea they are already dead. Haywan nodded. They are about to learn what it means to hunt the hunters. They are about to face Earth's children in battle. And Earth's children have been practicing warfare since before we discovered fire. The first battle was about to begin. The galaxy would never be the same. The meeting hall floated in space above Varath Prime, a massive station that housed the Galactic Council. Inside the Grand Chamber, representatives from 47 different species sat in their designated seats. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few were made of living crystal. Captain Hyunwoo stood near the human section, his uniform simple and clean. He watched the proceedings with calm eyes. The council was discussing trade routes when the Quilvan representative stood up. The insect-like creature chittered, and the translator made his words clear to everyone. I find it amusing that humans claim to be a spacefaring species, the Quilvan said, his mandibles clicking. Your entire fleet consists of only 200 ships. My homeworld alone has more vessels than your entire civilization. Several species made sounds that the translators interpreted as laughter. Hyunwoo noticed Ambassador Haywan sitting quietly in the diplomatic section. She smiled but said nothing. Her expression never changed. The Quilvan continued, enjoying the attention. Perhaps humans should focus on what they do best, trading, talking, staying out of the way of real military powers. Hyunwoo felt his jaw tighten, but he kept his face neutral. Haywan had taught him well. Show nothing, reveal nothing. Let them think what they want to think. Thank you for your observation, Haywan said smoothly, standing up. Humanity appreciates the Council's protection and looks forward to continued peaceful cooperation. The Quilvan sat down, satisfied with himself. The meeting moved on to other topics. Hyunwoo caught Haewon's eye across the chamber. She gave him the smallest nod. The message was clear. Let it go. For 73 years, humanity had been part of the Galactic Council. In that time, they had built a reputation as peaceful traders and skilled diplomats. They ran cargo between worlds, helped negotiate treaties, and avoided conflicts. The galaxy saw them as friendly but weak, harmless. That was exactly what humanity wanted them to see. After the meeting, Hyunwoo returned to his ship, the Eternal Dawn. The vessel looked like a standard diplomatic transport. Clean white hull, comfortable crew quarters, and meeting rooms for negotiations. His crew of 48 moved quietly through their duties. Captain, his first officer Minji said as he entered the bridge, "We received a message from Earth, high priority. Eyes only." Hyunwoo took the datapad and read the brief message. It was a simple status check, asking if the council suspected anything. He typed a short reply. "No, they still believe we have 200 ships. Cover remains secure." He handed the pad back to Minji and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, hidden in the dark spaces between systems, the truth waited. The real human fleet. Thousands of ships that the galaxy had never seen. Crews trained for a war they hoped would never come. The council had no idea. 3 days later, everything changed. The emergency alarms woke Hyunwoo from sleep. He rushed to the bridge, still fastening his uniform. The screen showed chaos. Red alerts flashed from multiple sectors. "Report," he ordered. "Captain, we're receiving distress calls from the Dravik border," Minji said, her fingers flying over the controls. 3 council worlds are under attack. Heavy casualties reported. The main screen showed a recorded message. A massive reptilian face filled the view. The creature's scales were dark red, almost black, and his eyes burned with cold intelligence. This was Warlord Sethrak of the Dravik Empire. "The age of the council is over," the warlord said. His voice was deep and harsh. "We have tolerated your weakness long enough. The Dravik Empire will restore strength to this galaxy. Surrender or die," the message ended. New reports flooded in. The Dravik fleet numbered over 4,000 ships. They were hitting military bases, colonies, and supply stations. The Council's defense forces were scattered across too many systems. They were being destroyed piece by piece. Hyunwoo watched the tactical display. Red icons marked Dravik forces. Blue icons showed Council ships. The blue icons kept disappearing. "Captain, we're being summoned to the emergency council session," Minji reported. The council chamber was filled with panic when Hyunwoo arrived. Species that normally spoke in measured tones were shouting. The crystalline form of High Chancellor Vexthar stood at the center, trying to restore order. "Please, please," Vexthar's voice echoed through the hall. "We must organize a defense." "There is no defense," Aquilvan shouted. "The Dravik have 4,000 warships. Our combined fleet can barely muster 2,000, and they're spread across the entire sector." "We need to evacuate the core worlds," another representative said. "And go where?" Someone else demanded. Hyunwoo listened to the arguments. He saw fear in every face, every gesture. These species had lived in peace for so long that they had forgotten how to fight a real war. The council had police forces and patrol ships, but they had never faced a full military assault like this. "We have 48 hours, Vexthar announced. "Our analysts say the Dravik fleet will reach the core worlds in 2 days. We need every ship, every resource, every species to contribute." The Chancellor's glowing eyes turned to the human section. "Ambassador Haewon, can humanity provide transport ships for evacuation?" Haewon stood slowly. The chamber grew quiet. Everyone waited for the weak humans to offer their tiny fleet for refugee duty. "Chancellor," Haewon said clearly, "humanity can do more than evacuate refugees." Vexthar's crystalline face showed surprise. "I appreciate the sentiment, Ambassador, but 200 ships cannot turn the tide of this war." "I did not say we would send 200 ships, Haewon replied. The chamber filled with confused whispers. Hyunwoo watched his ambassador carefully. This was it, the moment they had prepared for but hoped would never come. "If humanity intervenes militarily," Haewon continued, "you will see a side of us that we have deliberately kept hidden for 73 years. We are not what you think we are. We have never been what you think we are." The Quilven representative laughed nervously. "What are you saying? That you have more ships hidden somewhere?" Haewon did not smile. "I am saying that if you want our help, you must accept the consequences. You will see what humanity really is. There will be no going back to how things were. Vexthar studied the human ambassador for a long moment. The chamber was silent now. Everyone felt the weight of something they did not understand. Ambassador, the Chancellor said quietly, we face extinction. If you can help us, we accept any consequences. Heywan nodded once. Then I will contact Earth. She pulled out a communication device that Yunwu recognized. It was not standard council technology. It was a quantum relay, capable of instant communication across any distance. The council did not know humans had that technology. Heywan spoke 2 words into the device, predator mode. Then she looked up at the assembled council. You should prepare yourselves. In a few hours, your sensors are going to show you something impossible. Do not be afraid. We are still your friends, but you are about to learn what it means when humanity goes to war. Hyunwoo felt his heart beating faster. After 73 years of hiding, of pretending to be weak, of holding back, it was finally happening. The galaxy was about to see the truth.